everybody, Maestro here. Welcome to the Con's Court. Today we have Ultron. Ultron is an amazing character. I absolutely love Ultron in Marvel Comics and in the MCU. Even in the animated Marvel movies and the cartoons, stuff like that. He is absolutely amazing. I love all the different voice actors for Ultron. I have rarely heard a voice for Ultron that has not worked, but I've got to give credit where credit's due. Nothing really beats the voice of Ultron in the MCU and the voice of Ultron from the animated cartoon movie of The Next Avengers, the Heroes of Tomorrow or whatever movie. That Ultron is absolutely a menace. The lines from both of those Ultrons are absolutely spectacular and really bring the character together in a whole, showing, I hear both of those voices on and off when I hear Ultron when I'm reading a comic book with him in it. Those two voices are like the first voices that pop up in my head because those two voices are just so good for Ultron. So let's go ahead and get straight into the unboxing for this. I'm super excited to open this up and add it to my collection.
Ultron, we would have words with thee!
Here we have the box for the Marvel Legends series Ultron. As you can see here, here's some box art right there of Ultron from the comics. We have Ultron right at the front. Moving it over to the side, you get to see the line it's from, the little series. This is the Build-A-Figure Cassie Lang series from the Ant-Man 3 movie. So you can see all the different other characters that come with it to build Cassie Lang. If you care about Cassie Lang, I don't personally. But if you do, there you go. You get to see all the different characters that Build-A-Figure. It comes with the arm and another hand for the Cassie Lang figure. It comes with Ultron, obviously, and then the other accessories here. It comes with some particle effects, it looks like. Some like black bubbles and some like different like power rays, it almost looks like here, as an accessory. And then you also it comes with two other grasping hands and then one fist hand. And then it seems it comes with an open hand. And then it also comes with this other fist that's already on Ultron. So let's go ahead and open this up right now. And boom, there he is, guys, out of the box. There is Ultron. First thing, as I always do, just checking him out when I first get him out of the box. I did notice the material mold plastic that they use to make Ultron when it comes to the actual production of this character, in this action figure in particular. It seems that whatever plastic they use has little different accents of color. And sometimes those little color accents, when it's being molded and put together, actually swirls and causes little darker black swirls inside of the actual plastic. And when you get it out of the box, you can actually notice that. So let me get it closer here to the camera to let you see. This right here, at first I thought it was actual details a part of it, but as looking at the box back here, if you guys pay attention to the box, this box does not show any of those little accents on the stomach or on the chest area. But bringing it back to the actual figure here, you can see it's got these little black like swirls on it. It even has it up on the chest. You can see right there where the swirl is, and it kind of branches out. That is actually from them making the plastic for the mold. That might actually be like the coloring, like the paint and stuff that they probably used within the plastic. When actually forming it, it seems that some of that was not quite clear, not as clear as it is on the picture on the box. And so you've got that plastic swirl there from the actual production, which is in a way bad and good. I find it as something unique for my own version of Ultron. You know, Ultron always has multiple different variations and forms of himself. He builds more updated and newer versions. You know, he constantly does it, no different than Iron Man making multiple different armors. So this kind of makes it special for me as a collector to have my own version of Ultron with these little defects. It kind of makes him personalized for me, that this is my Ultron. Not everybody else might have that. But it also could just be a production failure that all of the figures have. At least out of the batch that this came from, which could also, again, be a problem. So although it's not a problem for me, it is probably going to be a big problem for a lot of other people that want a perfected version of Ultron like the one on the box. So that, unfortunately, will be bringing down the scale a little bit when I go to rate him. So that is unfortunate. Like I said, it's not going to be rated down because of me and my preference, but because as a collector I could understand the gripe or the complaint with it, I'm going to be bringing it down for all of those people. You can kind of see it goes a little bit more down here. This is not a seam. This is not any type of seam or anything like that on the actual thigh. That is literally inside the mold. That is actually inside of it. So as you can see, it's all around this entire figure. There's some more right there. It almost looks like it's cracks, but it's not. It's on the inside. There's nothing wrong with the plastic. There's no seams. There's not really any cracks. Me messing with it, pushing on it, there's no seam there. So you don't really have to worry about any type of like fracturing or faulting of the plastic itself, but obviously there seems to be some different colorizations that kind of do not fit the normal thing that we have here back on the actual box. So with that being said, that is one of the first things that I did notice with this figure. We did already go over some of the accessories here. They all come packaged in these little plastic bags here. So there is that little red piece right there, the little energy piece, and then the other hands that I told you guys about. We also have the extra pieces for the Cassie Lang Build-A-Figure there. And then Ultron does come in a little bag right there with his head poking out. If you ever get a figure from Marvel Legends that's in these type of new boxes that they're doing where they don't have any clear plastic that you could see the figure through and you just see like the pictures of them, they come in boxes a lot like this where the head pokes through and this will hold the figure together. If you love Marvel Legends series figures and you get them a lot, you would have probably seen this as a new reoccurring way of packaging the figure. So this is not anything new, but I just like to reiterate it when I can to kind of let you guys know about that. When it comes to the actual figure's other details that are supposed to be there, this figure is really cool. I love the spikes here. I love the earpieces. The earpieces do not seem to rotate at all. It would have been really cool if they did, but it doesn't seem that they do. You get to see the little black, it almost looks like power orbs that he's got on the inside of his mouth there. He doesn't have any in the inside of his eyes, but in the comics and in some of the animated movies and shows, you actually get to see that inside his mouth when he talks. Those little black orbs will actually move with him talking to kind of simulate a mouth moving. It kind of gives him more character. It kind of gives him a personality. It's a little thing about Ultron that he has. So that's really, really cool. Moving on to the articulation here, you obviously have the arms that can go in and out, the rotation right there at the shoulder. These actual shoulder plates also rotate on their own. They do not rotate specifically with the shoulder joint. They are their own piece that rotates, which I think is very, very cool and makes this figure more flexible. You obviously have the head rotation. His head can move up just a little bit, barely at all. It mainly looks forward. It can barely look up. See, if you kind of bend it a little bit, it does. And then it can kind of bend down, but not by much. It more just rotates and kind of looks forward. Then you have the double jointed elbows right there. See, you can push it a little bit farther to have his arm go up really, really well. And then you also have the rotation right there at the wrist, and most of the hands have that joint, allowing them to move up and down, which is very, very cool. It doesn't seem there's any pinholes inside of his hands, allowing you to have anything connect to it, like repulsor blasts. I know some of the Iron Man figures and things of that nature, they do have those little pinholes to allow you to do that. This figure does not seem to have that, and he doesn't have any on his feet. I for sure thought that there might be some on his feet because even some figures that don't use repulsor blasts will have the little peg thing for holding them up on a stand. But it seems that this figure does not have that at all either. He does, however, have the really cool detail of the little repulsor little arrays here, like the little, I don't know what you would call those reactors, the little arc reactor things here that allow those repulsor blasts to come out, allowing him to fly. So that is a really cool little detail on his feet, but It would have been really cool if we had a little peg hole allowing us to actually put the pieces for a repulsor blast, allowing him to fly. Moving on from the arms, we're going to go ahead and go to the top torso. The top torso does move up. It does move down, allowing you to crunch it a little bit, and it does rotate. It does do a full 360, which is really, really cool. His waistline does also rotate. It does not move up or down. He does not have any ab crunch. He has the torso that is able to bend up and down as a replacement for that. With him being a robot, he's going to be a little bit more stiff as a character anyways compared to other normal humans. So I'm not really worried too much about an ab crunch with him. You have the obvious hip rotation. His legs do not go back almost at all. They do go out, so he can do the splits and stuff like that. He's very flexible when it comes to the side and going forward, but when it comes to going back, he is not very flexible at all. His little butt cheeks get in the way, unfortunately. When it comes to the thigh rotation, he does have thigh rotation, which is really, really cool. He does have the double jointed knees, allowing his legs to go all the way back, although the joints here and right up here can be a little tough. It's not too forceful to where you're worried about breaking the figure. So it's not that tough, just tough enough. So you can see how far back the leg goes, getting that to go all the way up. He does have the calf rotation, which not all figure lines have, but Marvel Legends for a lot of their characters does. And I actually really, really like the calf rotation on a lot of my figures. I think that's really, really cool because then it allows you to actually have the ankle rotation there rather than having it on a ball joint and it just kind of spins. And then you can also have it move up and down. So I think this is really, really good. I love this. I know other companies like SH Figure Arts, they don't have that calf rotation and they just have a ball joint for the actual foot, allowing it to move side to side, up and down. But it kind of takes away from the purpose of making, I think personally, a stronger joint that kind of can do a little bit more. I like that much better than what some of the other companies do. So that is all of the articulation for the Ultron figure. As you can see, I just placed him back down. I didn't have to do too much, and he stands up by himself perfectly fine. So this figure is very stable, at least the figure that I have. He looks to be very stable. He can stand on his own very, very well. He seems to be decently flexible for a robot, especially. And he has a whole lot of different articulation, and he comes with a decent little bit of accessories. Including an accessory that I really didn't think that he needed, but nevertheless, they really gave it to him. So I very, very, very much like that. Moving on to actually comparing this figure with multiple other figures, we have Ultron's daddy. We got Hank Pym Ant-Man. This is the man that created Ultron in the comics. You can kind of see the size comparison there. Ultron being a little bit, and I put a little bit with quotations, he looks like he's a couple inches taller than Hank Pym is, which is really, really cool, showing just how dominating Ultron can be to the heroes around him. Look how tall he is. I mean, Ultron can quite literally look down to Hank Pym. And he is even thicker than Hank Pym is. Granted, Hank Pym is just a little bit skinnier of a character anyways. But there you are. You have father and son. Picture time. There you go. Father and son bonding moment. And then we have Iron Man, which is the father of Ultron from the MCU. A lot of people don't quite like that, but it is what it is. This is Ultron's MCU daddy. So there you are, comparing the two of them there. They are arch nemesis. Although in the comics, Ultron is not created by Tony Stark, he absolutely despises Tony Stark, and there is many, many similarities between Ultron and Tony Stark / Iron Man. So with that being said, they come head to head and they are at odds all the time with each other. Kind of like an annoying brother that Ultron absolutely hates. So there you are, kind of comparing them. They're quite similar when it comes to height and kind of thickness of the actual figure themselves. This kind of being one of the more original designs of Ultron, so he doesn't seem to be as much armored up as he is compared to the Invincible Iron Man here. So there you are. There's the comparison there. Moving away from Marvel Legends, we have the Mezco toys, the 112 Collective Thanos, one of Ultron's biggest rivals when it comes to the villains of Marvel. Ultron is constantly head-to-head with Thanos when it comes to trying to reign supreme over Earth. They both want to conquer Earth. Ultron constantly wanting to destroy humanity and make technology take over the world, and not only the world, but the entire galaxy and universe, versus Thanos, who wants to enslave Earth and at times even destroy Earth himself, and to completely conquer the galaxy and be king and lord tyrant over it all. So when it comes to being the most powerful villain and the biggest threat against the Avengers and many other heroes, these two are constantly at odds when it comes to the cartoons, the comics, and even video games. For instance, Capcom versus Marvel. So there you guys are, kind of seeing the different size comparison there. Absolutely love that Thanos, by the way. And there you have it. That is him compared with some other figures. That is his articulation, all the different accessories he comes with, and just kind of going over how Ultron looks as, in a whole, as a figure in general. So there you have it. We are going to now be moving on to actually rating the figure based off of everything that I've seen. I'm going to be rating this figure a 9 out of 10. This figure is absolutely amazing. There is not much wrong with this figure other than, like I said, the mold there. I brought it down to a 9, being generous to a lot of other collectors who do not like little defects like that in the mold of the plastic. It's not that big of a deal, but I know a lot of people have problems with it. So I completely understand that. And then also, when it comes to the accessories, I would, and also, like I said, the peg holes, I would have really liked him having some repulsor blasts and things of that nature, and he did not come with it. Although he came with an accessory that he didn't quite need, in my own personal opinion, there are some accessories I feel like he did need, which are the repulsor blasts. So that kind of took a little bit away from me, kind of taking a 0.5 points. So those two little things there coming up to a full point, bringing it down to a 9 out of 10. Really, really good rating still for a Marvel Legends figure especially, and for this Ultron figure. I absolutely love this figure. I'm glad to have it in my collection. Between all the other accessories that it comes with, comparing it to a lot of the other figures, it holds up decently well. And all in all, I just think the articulation on this figure is very, very good for, like I said, a robotic figure. So with that being said, 9 out of 10, let's go ahead and move over to some pictures that I took of Ultron by himself in different poses and with other figures, especially some of the figures that I already showed, allowing you to kind of know what you would expect if you got this Ultron figure for your own collection.
I'm gonna show you something beautiful. Everyone screaming for mercy. You want to protect the world, but you don't want it to change. You're all puppets, tangled in strings.
And yeah, there you guys have it. That was Ultron from the Marvel Legends series, the Build-A-Figure Cassie Lane line. Kind of that little Cassie Lane Build-A-Figure series. I really, really like this Ultron. This Ultron is absolutely amazing in my opinion. If you're looking for an original look for Ultron, if you're looking for that kind of original Ultron look, this figure is definitely worth it. Like I said, it is a 9 out of 10 only for 2 reasons, kind of taking 0.5 of a point away from each thing. One being, I feel like it needed some repulsor blast, being Ultron, who is constantly at head with characters like Iron Man. He is very well known for repulsor blast and rays that come out of his hands and fingers when he is fighting against those characters. So I feel like it would have been kind of a respectable thing towards the character of Ultron to add that. But at the end of the day, I understand if they didn't, but I'm going to take a few little bit of a point away from there. And then you also have the mold itself, the plastic mold, like I said. So with that being said, really, really good figure at the end of the day. Still a 9 out of 10. Great. I loved all the pictures with it. He was very good to pose with. I did not have many problems posing this figure at all. So with that being said, guys, if you enjoyed my unboxing and review of this figure, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you all thought about this figure and if you plan on getting this figure to add to your collection as well. Or if you already have this figure in your collection, let me know how you feel about the figure. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. And as always, I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.